Hi, I'm Serena and this is Jess and we're from UTrain Online, and today we're going to go over how to make a smoothie. Today's smoothie is like your generic berry flavored smoothie, nothing fancy. We wanted to kind of start you slow. So in order to have a smoothie, you need some form of a blender. Jess and I both have the NutriBullet, but there are plenty of options out there for you to use. You don't need something as high powered as this. We start with a base, so that is a water, a milk, or a non-dairy alternative. Today we're going to be using almond milk.
I usually do measure it out about a cup, depending on what
Right.
One serving is usually. If you keep it shake too long, it's not very appetizing anymore. But since this is at the end of it, I'm just going to pour it all in. But I do find that measuring actually is better because sometimes you don't get the consistency that you want.
Right, and you don't want it too watery because then it just feels like it's a drink as opposed to a meal, and it doesn't feel as satisfying.
Right.
And then we're gonna go with our organic frozen berry blend. We both like the frozen version for our smoothies. They're cold because they've been in the freezer, and they last longer. So I find a lot, if you buy too much of something, especially the organic produce, it rots quicker. So you may feel like you're wasting money because you're not actually getting a lot of use out of it. When you have them in the freezer, they're there for you and they don't go bad.
Right. Again, it's a taste preference. I like to go with the mixed berries, but plenty of times I'll make something with just raspberries or just blueberries or just strawberries. I do stress to measure it out. A lot of people think because it's fruit, you can have the sky's the limit. But half a cup to a cup is actually a better way to go because it's still sugar, and you want to keep things in your smoothie that will keep it fuller, and this isn't necessarily going to do that, although it is going to be something that makes it taste better.
And then we want to add some greens in there. There are greens powders out there, which is fine. You want to make sure you read the ingredients and make sure that there's nothing extra in there but your greens. But it is always better to get your minerals and vitamins from food as opposed to a supplement. That's always the preference. So we're using organic baby spinach. And again, you're looking, I know we mentioned this in our pantry and refrigerator videos, you're looking for that label USDA organic.
The nice thing about spinach is it's very muted. You do not taste the spinach at all in your shakes. You're still getting the benefit of the vegetable without actually changing the taste. You do have to be careful. If you use some greens, they will change the taste.
Yes.
This will just change the color usually.
Yes. It tends to look unappetizing, but we swear it tastes good.
And so next we're going to put in 1 to 2 tablespoons of flaxseed. Usually if I'm going to put multiple seeds in there, I'll do 1 tablespoon, but since we're going to just use flax today, I'll put 2. Things like chia seeds, hemp seeds, flax seeds can be used as a way to add protein and to make your shake fuller. A lot of times when we drink our meals, especially if we do it too quickly, your brain doesn't get that signal that you actually have had the meal and that you're satisfied. So if this doesn't last you longer, it might be you're not putting the right things in your shake. Another great way to add protein is with the nut butter. It also makes it very flavorful. Again, it's definitely a taste preference. We're using almond butter today. You can use a different nut butter if you choose. Cashew butter is an alternative. You can do macadamia nut butter. I mean, they have pretty much everything out there. Peanut butter, you just want to be careful with. Peanut butter a lot of times has hidden ingredients in it. And sometimes with allergens, even if you don't have necessarily a peanut allergy, it still can upset the stomach. So almond butter is milder, and that's why we're using it. And again, 1 to 2 tablespoons. It depends on how many. I don't count calories. I don't like to talk about calories, but if you are looking for something that is more on the satisfying side, but that's not going to add extra calories if you're trying to lose weight, maybe stick with the 1 tablespoon.
And we did cover this in our pantry video, but just make sure you read the label. You're looking for just the nut, maybe sea salt added, but that's it. There should be no 3rd, 4th. That ingredient list should not go past the 2 item number.
And why don't you tell us about protein powders, Serena?
So Jess does not use protein powder in her smoothies. I do. She has here a bone protein and a collagen protein. There are pea proteins out there, soy, whey. Personally, my stomach does not do well on whey and soy. That doesn't mean that's going to happen to you. They may work fine for you. So I use a pea protein. Jess uses specifically her collagen protein here. You want to look for, when you do pick out your collagen, for as many sources as possible so that the amino profile is as dynamic as possible.
And you want to be careful. Not only do a lot of people have a sensitivity to whey because it is dairy, but a lot of the ingredients in those powders are not something that is recognizable. So something more like a pea protein or plant-based protein has ingredients that you actually are familiar with. So we always do try to go with ingredients that we're familiar with. I like to get my protein from foods. That's why we added a lot of these in there. But it is nice if you're looking for extra protein, especially if it's right after a workout maybe, or I like collagen for its benefits for skin, hair, nails, and it does have a protein in it. So I do add this into my smoothie every day, but I just don't have a traditional protein in mine.
Or if you're someone who maybe you struggle to find enough protein in your meals, that's a good alternative for you.
Right. There's a lot of other things that you can add in here. I do like to add cinnamon and vanilla in sometimes. So, again, sky's the limit. We have some recipes that we can add in. I have a smoothie that I like that has ginger in it, ground ginger and fresh ginger. And so there's a lot of different ways that you can really make your smoothies, but we tend to think that the nice way to start, if you're not a smoothie drinker, to start with something that's more of a berry smoothie because it's milder and sweeter. Again, I don't tend to measure some things. I just kind of go by eye it. But I would say probably a teaspoon of vanilla would probably be good. And does anybody measure a quarter of a teaspoon of cinnamon? I don't think anybody measures that. And then we'll add a couple of ice cubes in here if you like it extra cold. If you want it thicker, a lot of times we'll tell people to add chia seeds to it. That does thicken it, but I would drink it within a half an hour of making it because it does change the consistency. And a lot of times it will separate. So if you're going to bring it with you, maybe a shaker cup that has something in it that you can kind of shake up and make it a little smoother. The more ice will make it a little bit more slushy. And another way to make it a little creamier would be even to add a half of an avocado or a quarter of an avocado. It will give you a nice healthy fat, but again, it's going to make you fuller and up the calories of the shake. If you notice that that your blender is not as high powered and you need to add a little bit more liquid after you start seeing it, or if it's too thick, you can add a little bit more liquid a little at a time, but you can even add water at this point because it has enough flavor in it. Yeah. And actually, I'm going to add a tiny bit of water.
You're eyeballing it.
Again, I'm eyeballing it. And you want to give it a shake just so that you can get, especially if you put enough butter in there.
A little bit of mix there.
Exactly. And then we're going to blend it.
This is going to be loud. Brace yourselves.
Check it out. Smoothies are a great alternative for somebody that's on the go for breakfast. A lot of times on the go breakfast options are not your best choices. A lot of times it's a bar with a lot of ingredients or a ready to go oatmeal that we talked about in our pantry. But if you don't have time to sit down and make eggs or something, there's a lot of variety that you can do with your smoothies. Again, this is a little on the thicker side. It depends if that's what you like. You could add more water and blend again if you want. We hope that you like this video. Take a taste, see if you like it. Cheers. Give us a like and a share, and make sure you subscribe to UTrain Online.
Thanks, guys.